We will be picking up some plums. Kaya gana siya o inot. Sayang pod no kung maunhan ta sa mga langgam. Yay! Ah! After harvesting all these beautiful, lovely and sweet Victoria plum, it's now time to make a plum jam. In this video, I'm gonna be showing to you my recipe and making a lovely, tasty plum jam. So stay tuned and be with me all throughout the process. Step number 1, sorting and segregating the plums. So it is very important that we have to segregate the plums because, like for instance here, I have harvested a lot of fresh fruits, but then again, some of it are already very ripe and some of it aren't yet. So, of course, I have to prioritize in making the plum jam those who are already very ripe, like this one, compared to this one. So I have to set this aside, and of course the ripe ones will be the ones I'm using for the jam. The second step is washing or cleaning the plums using fresh water. I mean thoroughly cleaning and washing the plums because we don't want that our jam will be contaminated with any dirt caused by rain, dusts, or simply any insect residues on the skin of the plant. So we don't want that. So that's why we really have to clean it properly. So here, I soak it first on a tub of water, and then one by one, I'm gonna be cleaning this. Yes, so look at that dirt. See, and there's even worm. Yes, so that's worm. But there's plenty of worm and there's a lot of dirt. So if you're not cleaning thoroughly your plums, then this might, get into your jam, and we don't want that. If you're just growing your own fruits in the garden or in the yard, then you're not using any pesticides for it to be protected with any parasites or insects, then you really have to make sure that you properly clean it. Okay, wash it before you process it to become a jam. Step number 3 is slicing the plums. Okay, so we have to take out the stones in the fruit, like this one. So of course, you want to take out this stones from it because of course it will not be in any way to be included in your jam, because otherwise it will give that bitter taste on it. Okay, so you have to carefully get it, and then you have to slice it. So here I'm making it into smaller cubes so that it's easier later on when you're already cooking it. Of course, our main ingredient, the plum, washed and sliced, water, sugar, lemon, cinnamon, and pectin for jam. So what we're going to do now is just to mix all our ingredients in the pan. So you can have a bigger pan so that of course it can accommodate more volume of plums. But unfortunately here we don't have I don't have a bigger pan available for cooking higher quantity of plums. So I will just be cooking or baking the plums by batches. So this is, I think, good for 5 cups of plums only. The ratio will be 5 cups of plums, 4 cups of granulated white sugar, 1 cup of water, 3 teaspoons of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon powder, 10 ml of pectin for jam. And we will just be mixing all this ingredients. Heat this slowly until the sugar and all other mixtures are dissolved. And then of course we have to stir this occasionally as well. If you can see that there is a lot of bubbles forming in it, we can actually put a small nub of butter to remove all the bubbles in it. As you can see, it started now to be foaming, so I will be putting a small nub of butter in it. so that the foam will be reduced. So now the next step would be mashing all these plums. Like as you can see, it's a bit still in cubes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just mashing it using this masher. And as you can see, the foams now are reduced. So we don't want that foam because it might just, spill over, and then will make your kitchen very dirty and filthy later on. And you know what? There is sugar in it, so it's gonna be very difficult to clean afterwards. So that's why it's best to put a small nub of butter in it to get rid of that foam. Yeah, so I think this is already okay. So we don't want also that everything will be mashed into a very smaller pieces. No, we also want to have our jam a texture of the fruit, the plum. So we'll just leave smaller parts there. So we'll just bring this to a rapid boil for several minutes until it's totally cooked. Now that the jam is now coming out to its beautiful color, so that means that it's almost cooked. So we are also started our sterilizing of the jam jars. So this is the method that I am using to sterilize our jars. So it's just boiling it with water, and I also included there my thumb that I'm going to use, so that because I don't want to be touching any part of the jars later on when we're already battling this one or cutting this one. So now I'm gonna be mixing the pectin. To give it a good set when it's already cooked. So in the Philippines, when we're actually cooking, we try to use cornstarch to give the recipe a sticky sauce. But when you're doing jam or marmalade, we have to use a pectin. And with that, I'm using this product. So I just bought this in Sainsbury today. And you can just follow the instructions there on how to mix it with your jam. Yep, and then let's give it a final rapid boil for about 7 minutes, and it's done. So as you can see, it's already boiling, but supposedly the whole bottle should be submerged into the boiling water. However, since our pan is not that totally deep for it to be fully submerged, then what we can do is just using our tongue we can just flip this. our jam. The last part is to give the jar another good soak in the boiling water. Okay, so that will of course further sterilize the jar outside. So just to make sure that all the bad bacteria are dead, and we can preserve this for at least a year and just place it inside our pantry. So it will be consumed for the next 12 months. So here's our finished product from Victoria Plum to Victoria Plum Jam. So this is now the jar of our fresh plum jam. So what I did, I just actually recycled some of the jam jars, but we also purchased a new one since I've made a lot of jam here. Well, as you can see, before I closed the lid, I placed a paper wax inside, and then of course I covered it with the lid, and then there's also a cellophane on top of the lid with a rubber band just to make sure that it's securely tight and closed to avoid air coming into it and gonna spoil your jam. So it's now ready for delivery. So I will try to send some of this in the Philippines as pasalubong in time for the Christmas season. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope that you learned something from me today, especially on how to make a Victoria plum jam. So all the details and the steps, the procedures are written down in the description below, so you can check with it. And also, I've also included there all the ingredients and the proportions. So I am actually excited to see your own version of plum jam. So if you're making one, please share with me and write down your comment below with your experience. Thank you. Bye-bye.